have used in recent years. As the Chartered Institute of Taxation points out, this measure is not aimed at stopping profits arising in the UK being shifted by multinationals out of the UK to tax havens. But for far too long, the companies which make the modern economy work have got away with complex ways of moving and hiding the money that we pay them. I'm happy to give way.
I'm very grateful. I agree with many of the points you make, certainly in making sure we have a fair and level playing field for small businesses. And certainly I'm a supporter of new clause 33 in principle, trying to see these multinationals disclose profits on a country-by-country basis. But does she, to be fair, accept the fact that the government has gone further than previous governments with measures like the diverted profit tax and now by the digital services tax?
Yeah.
We welcome all measures and we would support any proposals to tackle tax avoidance, whether it's in terms of tech giants or much more broadly. But we do still face a big gap in this country and we are urging government to do much more, and I'm sure that he would agree. It's vital that we see greater action because we have seen this unfairness, particularly during the pandemic. He, like me, will have many wonderful local businesses that pay their taxes, are trying to come through this crisis, and they want to make sure that there is a level playing field between the bricks and mortar businesses and online businesses too, and I'm sure we all want to try and get behind that endeavour. For too long, companies have moved and hidden the money we pay them. And research by TaxWatch UK estimates that we are losing £1.3 billion in corporation tax from 5 of the biggest firms each year. Now, comparing that with the government's own estimate that the digital services tax is only set to produce £280 million this financial year, the modest nature of this measure becomes clear when we consider what some of the tech giants might actually have to pay under the tax. And I'll highlight again for the benefit of the House, as I did in committee, research by TaxWatch UK, which predicts that Facebook would face an increased tax bill of £39 million despite estimated UK revenues of almost £2.3 billion. Google would pay slightly more, around £168 million, based on estimated UK tax revenues of £9.3 billion. And many businesses, such as Amazon, which blend their activities, will be unaffected by the measure. Now, the government will be aware of our concerns that streaming services are not included at all, a point which we raised and discussed at committee stage. Now, the Minister then said in his response that it would be inappropriate to implement a temporary tax on a broader basis. And he will doubtless be aware that taxes introduced on a temporary basis have ended up becoming permanent fixtures, including, I'm told, income tax introduced to fund war with Napoleon, and with little evidence that the government is working to secure international agreement for a replacement for this tax, temporary could end up being for a very long time. Now, HMRC employs many extremely capable people, and I'm sure it's not beyond their wit to develop a way of taxing streaming services too. I'd also like to touch on new clause 33 here, Madam Deputy Speaker. The new clause tabled in the name of my right honourable friend for Barking and many cross-party supporters, which would introduce a provision that those liable to the digital services tax must publish a country-by-country tax report. Now, my right honourable friend, the member for Barking, has campaigned tirelessly and incredibly effectively on this issue, and I wish it were possible that we could hear from her directly today. Sadly, the way in which we now conduct our proceedings makes it impossible for my right honourable friend to contribute, which is a real shame given the expertise and insight she brings on this issue. But I'm aware that the cross-party support on this new clause will allow other speakers to raise those points that she might have sought to make in debate. For years from these benches, we have urged the government to commit to country-by-country reporting on a public basis. Its reticence to do so, and the way in which it has held up progress at an international level, has been a source of deep frustration to those of us who want to see far greater transparency around the taxation of multinational companies. Not only would this new clause be of practical use, so that we can see if those liable to the digital services tax are paying an appropriate amount, but it also helps to address the concerns that I've outlined, that the measure as it stands does little to address the tax avoidance practices by digital multinational companies. It would end the secrecy around such practices and would pave the way for public country-by-country reporting at a wider level. I know the government has been fond in recent months of saying that it wishes to be a world leader. Well, here is the opportunity to become a world leader in tax transparency, and I urge the Minister to listen to the arguments being made in this area and take urgent action to address them. The pressure on our public finances and vital frontline services means we should be doing far more to ensure that those tech companies which have benefited from the lockdown are contributing more. We need a level playing field between our high streets and the tech giants. We need to build a society where everyone, individuals and businesses alike, pays their fair share. A digital services tax must be a part of that, but the government simply isn't.